Hello, this is Daniel Yusenko, and this is going to be a bonus tutorial video for my tutorial DVD. If you'd like to see more free videos, just go to www.wedding-photography-tutorial.com, and if you scroll down, you'll see there are 4 more videos that you can watch, a total of 1 hour of footage. And if you'd like to be informed when there are more free videos, go up, sign up here, and after all of this, if you would like to purchase the main DVD, which is 13 hours long, you can click on buy. It'll scroll down, and here you'll see that the regular price for both DVDs is $400. But for Christmas, I am having a sale, and if you enter XMAS for the coupon, you will see that you can get $300 off, which is 75%. So both DVDs you can purchase for $100. So I think that's a really good deal. And if you were thinking of buying the DVDs, this is the time to do it. Alright, and also if you speak Spanish and not English, just click on Espanol in top right corner, and everything will be in Spanish, including the videos. Alright, now to the actual tutorial. For those of you who purchased the Perfect Edit DVD, you remember that almost the whole video we were editing this image here, and we went from this stage, which is the original, to this here, and it's very, very polished. If we zoom in, you'll see that there are a lot of changes, especially in the skin and the eyes. And this took us a very, very long time. If I was to edit this on my own without anyone watching, it would probably take me 40 minutes. And that's the problem, that it takes so long. I can only edit a few images per wedding if I'm editing with this style. I typically edit around 50, and out of those 50, maybe a few would be like these, where the face is a big part of the image, and therefore it's a lot harder to edit because you can see more imperfections. But I don't edit all of my images with this complicated editing style. But I deliver about 1,000 images from the wedding to the client. And the problem that I ran into is that my clients want to post all of their images online and on Facebook. Now, for those other images that I don't edit like this, they don't look as good as these fully edited ones, obviously. But my clients are posting them on Facebook, so it makes me look bad that those images don't look very good. As you remember, what I used to do with my Lightroom is I would edit all of my other images, about 1,000 or so, by simply controlling the exposure and white balance and maybe some contrast here. And these look okay, but they don't look great. And it would be really nice if there was a solution where I could just, with one click, make my images look really, really nice. And it turns out there is such a solution. And this is what this bonus video is about. When I was making my DVD, I didn't know about this, but now I do, and let me share with you. If you go to visualsupply.co, this is the Visual Supply Company. They are amazing in what they do. They make tools for photographers. And here you see they make keys, film, and cam. And today we will focus on film. What this is, these are filters for Lightroom and Photoshop, and they make your pictures look like they are shot with a film camera. If we scroll down, you can see here some samples. I'm not going to go through these, but you can do it yourself. And if we go up, you can see that there are 2 sets. There is pack 1 and pack 2. I have them both, but I use pack 1 more. To buy, you'll have to go here, and you have to read the description to make sure that you buy the correct version. Some of these are for Photoshop, some of these are for Lightroom. Let me show you what they do. In Lightroom, here I have, as you can see, VSCO Film 01 for Lightroom 4. for the Canon camera. Since I use a Canon camera, these are the filters I'm gonna use. VSCO has lots of different presets for different films. For instance, this is Fuji 160C, and if I click on it, you'll see that the image changes to look different from the original. If I undo, so this is the original, and this is how it looks with 160C. Sometimes you have to adjust things like exposure to make them perfect, and that looks pretty good. Maybe adding a little temperature would be nice, maybe a little pink. You can play around with all of these different presets. My favorite is 160C because it matches my editing style. It's very colorful and very gentle. But other film presets are cool too. I know a lot of people use 400H. I'm not going to go through all of these, but I'll just say that my two favorites are 160C for color, and if you go down, Kodak Tri-X 400 Plus for the black and white. Once again, you can play around with these yourself. And I also have pack 2. And there are lots of different ones here. And my favorite out of these is the Neopan 1600. It's a very contrasty black and white. Anyways, let me show you a few other examples of how these filters look on different pictures. For instance, this is a nice image, but it looks quite plain. And if I click on 160C, all of a sudden it looks much better. Maybe adding a little pink would help, and maybe a little yellow. Alright, that looks pretty sweet. And there are numerous other examples. This one will look nice too. 160C. Maybe it looks a little green here. So we're gonna adjust a little bit. As you can see, these filters, they're not very drastic. They don't make your images look crazy. They make them look very believable and film-like, which is what I like about these filters. A lot of other filters out there in the market are just too much. Like, they don't make your pictures look good, they just way overdo it. But here, these filters, I mean, they look very, very nice and very gentle. Sometimes, you know, you can add your own twist to it, maybe add a little more contrast, something like that. Alright, so one thing to know is that these filters, they use the raw file information to give their effect. You can use these with JPEGs, but it looks much, much better when you use raw files. So make sure to photograph in RAW. The next thing I need to show you is what if you wanted to tweak the preset a little bit to your own taste. For example, all of these presets, they add grain. Some add less grain like 160C, and some have more grain like something like 3200 T-Max black and white. If we go down here, you'll see that the grain here is on 100, which is maximum. For 160C, the grain is 10. The reason they're all adding grain is because, again, they're trying to make the pictures look like film, and film has grain. But let's say that I didn't want grain on this filter. And let's say I never want grain when I click on this filter. What do? Well, what we need to do is alter this particular preset. The way to do it is first pick the preset that you want to alter, in this case 160C, and what we're going to do is we're going to change just the grain. You can also, if you wanted to, you can tweak maybe the contrast or maybe some of the saturation, but for now we're just going to tweak the grain. Next, scroll up here and click on the plus sign where the presets are, and you can name your preset whatever you want. So we're gonna say no grain 160C Fuji. Here you pick where you want to save your preset, in which folder. We're gonna choose user presets folder, and here you want to make sure everything is checked except for this one here. Then we're gonna create the filter by clicking create. And here you'll see that under user presets there is no grain 160C Fuji, which is what we created. And this filter is 160C minus the grain. So now, every time I click on 160C Fuji with no grain, it'll give me what I need, which is 160C without the grain. And you can see here, there is no grain on the right. We can try it with another image. Click, and we have the effect, but no grain. Alright, now let me show you how this falls into my workflow. What I do is I import images. Let's do these. So we have 49 images. Imagine this is my whole wedding. You want to select everything, so here, make sure all photos are selected. And then where it says render previews, we're going to choose 1:1, which is a full rendering. And this will help us go from image to image without any lag once the rendering is done. And here it's asking us if we want to apply any presets as it's importing. And we're going to apply the preset that we just created, which is no grain Fuji 160C. So now when I click import, what it's going to do is it's automatically going to apply that filter. And then it's going to render the files so that when I click on an image, it's going to show it to me right away. For a full wedding, something like 1,000 images, the rendering might take as long as 2 hours, so you'd probably want to maybe leave it overnight. Alright, now that it has rendered all the files, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through them and adjust if I need to adjust anything. So maybe I think they're a little too bright. I mean, on your screen they might look fine. And then I'm going to use the arrow keys to go through them, and I'm going to press to the right. As you can see, they already look really, really nice. For instance, so if we look at this image, if we reset everything here, you'll see that this was how it looked without VSCO Cam. So look again, we're going to undo. So this is after VSCO Cam, and this is before. See, I mean, the difference is just, it's crazy. Like right now, it looks plain and not very attractive. But when we apply VSCO, all of a sudden, I mean, the skin tones, the colors, everything looks really, really nice. And remember, this is without any adjustments at all. I mean, I can still adjust it, maybe add a little warmth, maybe add a little more contrast if I want. But the point is that without doing any work, these images already look great. And that's why I love VSCO film. So once again, I'm gonna go through them, click the right, and see if there's anything to adjust. Sometimes, like here, I feel like the image is too bright, so I may go down in exposure. Maybe I want it a little more contrasty, I can do that. But I won't mess too much with it. And if I like this look, maybe let's add a little yellow. Let's say I like this. Then when I click next, if I want this image to look exactly the same like the previous one, I just click on previous, and then it makes those fine adjustments for me. Alright, so that's how I edit my 1,000 images. I just apply VSCO film on import, and then I go through them really quick and make my micro adjustments. For 1,000 pictures, typically I can edit probably in 2 to 3 hours if I really focus. And that's awesome because the images, they look great, but it doesn't take me a very long time. So now when my clients post their pictures on Facebook and they're not fully edited, I'm not going to be embarrassed because they still look really, really nice. And that is all actually. That is how I edit my images now. Once again, you can go to visualsupply.co, look at film, or there are other two products which are also really, really nice.